There have been a lot of bad people in 2020, but you gotta kind of put at least in the top 20 Scott Atlas, because he really represents in one person the herd immunity lack of strategy for dealing with COVID-19. And he has been a sort of increasingly public part of the increasingly public acknowledgement that Donald Trump does support herd immunity. The idea that we're just not gonna do anything, and a lot of people will get sick, and a lot of people will die, and eventually we're done, I guess. Well, at least as of today, Scott Atlas, the guy who was the avatar of that murderous public health philosophy and strategy, is gonna be moseying on back down that dusty trail. He has resigned his White House position on Monday. Although it would have been really good if he had been fired or something for knowing absolutely nothing about this. Again, he has no expertise in infectious disease. He's a radiologist. He's technically a doctor, true, but doesn't know anything about this. He was only brought on for a limited term initially, and his term was set to expire this week. It is interesting that he's like leaving seemingly right before the expiration of his term. I don't know if that's to provide plausible deniability where he can say, I left willingly, I don't know. But on his way out, he said this: I worked hard with a singular focus to save lives and help Americans through this pandemic. I always relied on the latest science and evidence without any political consideration or influence. That is the biggest bag of disease lies that I've ever seen in my life. He literally joined the team because he spread misinformation on Fox News, and Donald Trump only gets new people from Fox News, to hold that position, to crowd out Dr. Fauci, and to try to bar any action from happening, anything that would save lives. He just occupied the space as an obstacle. Relied on the latest science and evidence. He wouldn't understand the latest science and evidence. It's not even his field. And he would constantly spread misinformation that like, we don't know if mask wearing is actually helpful, and children can't spread the coronavirus. Oops, they can, and they can die from the coronavirus. But he doesn't have to actually admit that he was wrong in that way. Hopefully history will acknowledge the part that he played in this needless, massive loss of ever continuing American lives. But at least, yeah, as been today, we have a little bit of good news. He is no longer involved with the response to the pandemic that wasn't even really a response.
Yeah, I think it's so funny how a radiologist can just go on Fox News and all of a sudden he has like a high level position in the White House doing a job that he has no business doing. And I think especially whenever people hear about doctors, they think they're all the same. A radiologist is not the same as what Dr. Fauci is. There's different expertise that people kind of say, oh, well, he's smart enough to be a radiologist. I'm sure he can figure out infectious disease. No, it's a whole other field of study. You would have to dedicate some time to that first. But I love a good I told you so moment, and I feel like I'm having one right now. And I was just talking to someone the other day and I was like, yeah, we decided collectively as a globe that herd immunity was not gonna work because millions of people would have to die before it became effective. And it's like the US government was like, we'll just do it anyway. We just won't do anything. But even then, what's the death count at? 250, 60,000 Americans so far have died from the coronavirus. We would need like 1 million, at least 1 million more, the projections say, before we hit herd immunity. 1 million more American deaths. US deaths only. So that's not even around the world. It's not plausible. And these people are killing us. And there's no other way around it. There's no other way to say that. There's no way to sugarcoat it because that's what's happening.
Yeah, you're 100% right. According to the most recent numbers that I saw today, they would expect something like 1.385 million Americans would die as a result of pursuing this strategy. Again, assuming that herd immunity even works with COVID-19, which has not been like robustly established, that you do establish total immunity that lingers for a long enough period of time for that strategy to even work. So this strategy, which again is not a strategy, it's just not doing anything because they don't want to do anything because they don't care and it costs money that they don't want to spend, would, if it works, kill 2 civil wars worth of Americans, more than 2 civil wars and 4 Vietnams worth of Americans if it works, that is, if anything, if Scott Atlas is remembered in history, and I doubt that he will, it will be for advocating for that. I don't know if he should feel like he should feel guilt. He was, after all, just brought on to advocate for the thing that Trump already believed. I don't think that he convinced Trump of absolutely anything. Trump hasn't wanted to do anything about the pandemic since day one. But if he's remembered, it will be as a guy that advocated for a strategy that would kill over 1 million Americans. Good work. Although in his defense, again, he doesn't really know anything about infectious disease. He probably doesn't even know those numbers.
But he still took the job.
Yep, he did. And he probably got paid more in the couple of months that he worked in that than me and you all year.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.